So now we're live. This is the first session of the freebooters edition of the Gaunt Marches. The Gaunt Marches is a shared world with several GMs on the Gauntlet who run groups through this mysterious world. At the moment, Jim Crocker runs a couple of games. Richard Rain and Spencer are also GMs. And my take on the Gaunt Marches is a bit more old school and gritty. We're playing freebooters on the frontier, and I have 4 lovely people with me. It would be very nice if you could introduce yourself and give us an idea how, what kind of character you play. So let's start on the right of my screen. Mikael, can you say something about yourself and more importantly about Frogmen?
Frogmen Ezekiel Sea Dog. Well, my name is Mikael. My pronouns are they, them. I'm playing Frowning Ezekiel Sea Dog, halfling pirate. I mean, there's not much to say about Ezekiel except that he learned how to row at an early age. Found out shortly after that nobody could disturb his drinking while on a boat, and they didn't really look back after. Has one eye, and his voice is bears signs of his long time drinking rum and grog, which he also carries 1 load of with him at all times.
Awesome. And Chris.
My name is Chris. I'm playing Lifer. She is a dwarven fighter, basically, of course, short like most dwarves, but powerful. Carries like this big, huge mace and a shield. Doesn't quite understand why people keep calling her a cleric. She's not. Wears chainmail. Essentially, she got kind of tired of standard dwarven life being very structured and boring. So she headed out. Unfortunately, she's not very good with maps, so she got lost, and that's how she ran into the party. She tends to be very boisterous, doesn't seem to really care much about many things, but it's good to have at your back.
Nice. And Asbjorn?
Yeah, hi, I'm Asbjorn. I'm playing Anil Madid. He probably goes by Madid among the party. She is a cleric of a random goddess that I rolled up by the name of Pen, the goddess of fate and water. And I think she's from a seafaring elven culture, and Pen commands her to be like water, not to get all boosty, but she follows the stream of fate wherever it takes her, and she was very pleased when it took her to the one-eyed pirate halfling. It must be fate that has brought them together. Of course, the rest of the party, but whatever water-based theme she might find in you, she will latch onto.
Cool. And then we have Alyosha playing Istvan.
Yeah, hi, I'm Alyosha. I'm playing Istvan, who is a magic user who was unfortunately kicked out by his master pretty early in his apprenticeship because he had a spell explode in his face and showed his incompetence. And now he's trying to learn magic the rough way in the marches.
Nice. So let's assume that this is like a BBC television miniseries and your characters are introduced in the beginning, what would be the first like 10-second clip of that television series show about your character? What would we see on the screen? Michael, like an adventure. You four have traveled together for some time, you know each other, so it could include another character, or it could be from your pirate times.
Oh yeah, no, I think I want to include some other characters here. I think we see Frogmen sitting in like a corner of a tavern, and I think you see like it changes from like the camera looking at him and to his view, and it's everything is very like clouded, and you see like he gets focused on this like cup, and he grabs it and like takes a sip of it, and then you see like I think you see probably Anelmadet looking at him very like begrudgingly, and Frownen is just like doing just that, like Frownen, and what? Why else would it's my grog? What else is worth adventuring for?
And so we definitely get the mad and daring aspect of Frownen. Chris, what would we see Leifur doing in our first, like, before the title screen starts, the first clip?
I may have to change my traits because I just pictured her slightly differently. But basically, when Frownen said what he said, for some reason she found it incredibly funny. Maybe no one else did, so she does this belly laugh really, really loud. Instead of slamming her hand on the table, she slams her mace on the table, shatters it, looks at it for a sec, and then just laughs some more.
And Anil, I hope I can call you Anil. Anil. Like it could be also it could be the same scene, or it could be an adventure that you had, a scene that like describes your character in a nutshell.
Yeah, I just thought of the perfect thing. I think you see the day after Frownen drinks the grog, Anil pours out a bucket of water in his face while he's lying probably face down in the tavern on the floor, and she tries to sort of read the way the water flows down his face while he's really groggy, and she's, oh, I can tell from the way that runs through your eye sockets that you are destined for greater things, my friend.
Yeah, I think like Frownen just like looks up at you and like, you could at least have made it salt water.
Okay, and then lastly, Istvan. It could be the same scene. It could be you know, from your apprenticeship that went sour, or any kind of adventure before.
Yeah, maybe I'm imagining a scene where Istvan is kind of walking behind the rest of the party, inspecting his environs, and there's one other member of his former party or of this who's like stumbling and is almost drowning in the in some bog or in some quicksand or something, and Istvan is so absorbed in studying the wildlife and the plants around him that he absolutely does not realize, and he wouldn't care, and that somebody else has to walk up and save the person behind him.
How does Istvan dress? I mean, are you like the hippie druid kind? Is it more cleanly?
Yeah, I suppose it's because I rolled extremely poor. So I imagine, like, after having been kicked out, that luck hasn't gone his way, and he has clothes that were formerly quite nice, but that are totally rags and tatters now.
Yeah, you're wearing it from for some time. What about Anil? You are wearing like this classic cassock. Is it like black and with a white thing?
Yeah, I think it's probably faded black from being on the water for a long time. Looks maybe like a cross between a captain's frock or jacket and a priestly cassock. And she has a hat that's you can't really tell if it's a tricorn like a captain's hat or if it's more like a Venetian gentleman.
Mm-hmm. And have you described your symbol yet?
No, I haven't. I think it's. I was thinking about the compass, but maybe it's more like a small ball filled with water and a piece of cork, and there is an arrow that's sort of floating there, but it doesn't really point towards the north. It probably points to whatever she finds convenient.
Mm-hmm. So the what is it? An owl?
No, like a glass bowl.
Yeah, it's a glass bowl, and is there something swimming in it?
Yeah, a piece of cork.
Or cork. And so your pen could like tell you where to go by manipulating the cork.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's like a crude water compass, I think.
Mm-hmm. And then, so Fraunen is wearing leather armor. And what kind of weapon is it like is it your weapon, is it handed down from your forefathers, or did you steal it, buy it, got it from your last job?
No, I probably like stole it off the back of someone. Like I imagine the first like I mean I was like just like a boy scrubbing the decks of the ship, and then we did like a raid and I stole a sword off someone's back, pretty much.
And I mean, you're a thief. Are you part of a guild? Are you freelancing?
I'm freelancing. I think I found the guild life to be too boring, and also somehow there's some pyramid scheme going on. I don't know, but I don't get enough money, so.
And I mean, if you're in a bigger, have you been raised in like a city with a thieves guild? Because then you would have to pay them off, or otherwise, work under the radar. Or have you been always on a boat?
I think I grew up in like a halfling community. And not in a city, and like how I ended up in a parish, I think it's pretty random. I think like I just took my rowing boat and then out on the river, and suddenly I was in the sea and I was drinking, and I guess I would have died there on the sea if there wasn't for this pirate ship who picked me up. Happenstance.
And so are halflings the halflings that we know and love? Are they the more like interested in? So are you like the outlier that you left the village, or is it pretty common that halflings are brave and looking for adventure.
I don't think it's like uncommon, but I'm definitely an outlier in the way that, I mean, okay, people can go to the city to trade stuff or, you know, but becoming a pirate is definitely like a little bit outside the norm. Like crimes in general, I guess.
And then Leifur. So you are the only one with a proper armor. Is there like a sign on it? You have an armor and this big ass mace. Is there any kind of story behind the weapon or the armor? Is there any kind of signs on it?
Indeed, there is. Basically, from the dwarven tribe she comes with, the women make the crafts. The word for womb is the same for forge in the dwarven language. But they're generally not allowed to go out and adventure. She bucked that trend because she made this awesome chainmail and this very, very nice mace. And she's like, I wonder how this would really do. I'm just curious. So she kind of left, and she had only planned to go out for a little bit just to see how it worked. And, well, working at the forge, she was pretty strong. Some goblins tried to harass her, and it didn't turn out too well. And then she got lost. But she's fairly, like, okay with it. I mean, she's pretty hard to phase and has found kind of like wandering around, having fun. Most people think she's either a really, really short human or a very, very, very big halfling. She doesn't really care. She does put little etches on her big-ass mace every time she defeats a foe with it. So it has a few notches. Because she's not, like, super god adventure yet, it's not quite covered, but she's hoping to cover every bit of surface of it, then she'll return home, if she can figure out the way to do that.
Leifur, when was the last time your instinct to lie got you in trouble?
Probably what happened is I ended up running into sort of a band of pirates. One of them said something that I found incredibly hilarious, and I laughed, and that wasn't a good time to laugh. So I thought, okay, well, they're angry. Well, I'll just fight my way out of it. No, it did not work out at all. I bit off way more than I can chew, and I guess that may be if Fronwin's player is good with it. That may be how I got on the pirate ship, because they're like, they didn't know quite what to do with her, and then essentially what ended up happening is enemies attacked. She was useful, so they said, okay, well, you can live as long as you keep fighting for us. And that's how she struck up a friendship with a halfling.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, having a woman on a ship is good luck. Everyone.
So they say. So from the way you describe it, I would say that Frownin and Leifur have a bond of one. Bond is different from the Dungeon World bonds. It measures how much you can help each other, but it's not based on like a phrase or something. So you can both write one bond with each other. And so, Anil, who do you trust the most in the party?
I think I actually trust this one the most. Because I get a sense that I trust him to always sort of follow his whims. That is good in the eyes of Penn. He follows the waters of fate, the stream.
So, Istvan, how did you get Anil out of trouble? What was the occasion?
I'm thinking that somewhere in the in the area around one city, like in Istvan was trying to gather herbs, and Anil was probably like a bit too much cut off from her power source, like in a less watery area, I guess, and was waylaid by some random robbers, and Istvan was normally he wouldn't have cared, but he sensed power, and he still needs some. He thinks he needs somebody to train him, so he was interested and saved her with probably like constraining the attackers with plans.
So I would ask you two both to write down one bond with each other. So just one bond and then the name of the other character. Sorry. All right. So we open up probably shortly after the tavern scene that Mikael and Chris described. So it is the 10th month. The incredibly warm summer is over. All the harvest festivities are over. You have been gathered. You're gathering in a barn, which is the makeshift tavern of Goldbridge. Goldbridge is a city, you know, in the center of the Gaunt Marches, and our home base. The old tavern was burned down by another party, and it is at the moment rebuilt. There's the it is still warm. It is the 10th month, but in Goldbridge it doesn't really get super cold unless it's really winter and the winds come from the east. It's the middle of the morning. It's rather dark in the tavern itself. There's no artificial light. Both barn doors to the front and to the back are open to let the air in and a little bit of light. It does smell like you know, people who haven't washed themselves for quite a time and have worked in the morning, and it is raining. Sit in their dirty clothes to have their first or probably second breakfast. So there are a lot of peat farmers. There's also the smell of perfume and spices. There are people from the west, from what's it called? There are people from the west. They have silken clothes, colorful clothes, and do stand out. You are sitting around a table that has been salvaged from the rubbles of the burning tavern. And on the top of the table, there's a map scratched into the top, and it displays the area around Goldbridge. What you could do is you can talk among yourselves about what to do. You can also talk to people in the in the tavern, and if you want to do that, you get one extra rumor that is floating around the town. Or you can base your next move on what is already established. So let's go with Alyosha. What do you want to do? Do we want to discuss the next steps? Do you want to talk to people from Alamein, that's the town in the west, or the peat farmers, or the barkeep?
I have to grab laundry. I'll be right back.
Yes. You're muted, Alyosha. So what's Istvan doing?
No. Okay. So do we know the rumors that are documented from the previous parties?
Yeah. It's like we treat it as one group with changing members.
All right. I read this thing that their Zondor, the wizard, wants you to bring a big mushroom pot. So I suppose that would be something that that Istvan would be interested in, because it's kind of in this area of expertise.
Yeah.
So it's probably smooth sailing.
So the wizard is called Zakamala and lives in a tower to the east, and his servant is also in the barn at the moment. He has like a red-like face, very like a pointy chin, and big dark eyes, and has like it looks around all the time as if, you know, followed or something, or paranoid. Yeah, a ratty, dubious character, and he's called Zondor. Anil. So Istvan is proposing to fetch one of these big mushroom pots that are rumored to be found all over the Kyrgyz forest to the north.
Yeah, I think Anil's been spouting ever since she found out about this shipwreck of the coast of the Knee-High Sea. That's all she's ever been talking about to the other guys. She's really set upon this shipwreck because she views it as the bounty of the sea, of her goddess. So she's been lobbying quite hard for that, but as a player, as I said, it's also good if she doesn't get her way, but because then she can complain.
Yeah, so you have heard about this shipwreck that happened like really recently. It is to the southeast, just off the coast, and you know, people say it had gems in her belly, but attempts to salvage the goods have failed for unknown reasons. And Frogmen, mushroom pots, shipwrecks, new rumors.
I mean, I think the second Frogmen hears about shipwrecks, he's all about that. I mean, he just came off like not so long ago. Came off the boat of his own, and I think also he is curious to which ship it is. If it might be the ship of his friends, or at least, I mean, some of them are my friends, some of them are not so much my friends. That's why I left. But I mean, there was a lot of gold there. And
so, Frownin is all in favor of checking the shipwreck out. Leifur, what do you want to do? You can in the towers, or you can weigh in on what the others have said. So Istvan is trying to retrieve like a unusually big mushroom pod that is rumored to be all over the Kyrgyz forest to bring to Zakamala, which is a mysterious, powerful wizard, probably to get into his favor. And Anil and Frownin favor checking out the shipwreck.
I'm going to stick with Frownin. I mean, he's a little guy, needs my help. Often I like walk around and act as his muscle.
So it's 3-1, I guess. Istvan?
Yeah, what can I say? Imbeciles, but well, I will have to, as you are the muscle and not the brains of the group, and I will not, to be honest, I will not prevail without you. I will have to stick with you for the moment.
Okay. There's also, if you go to the tab on the character keeper, there's job opportunities in Goldbridge. Maybe you can have a look at them. Maybe you can combine your travel to the Knee-High Sea with anything that is on the board. And I'll be back in a second.
We're gonna, or I don't know what the Knee-High Sea is, but it sounds like we might need a boat to get us through there. Maybe the merchant Ratu Superman could metaphorically and actually float us with a boat if we take them on a hunting trip.
That sounds like an excellent plan.
I'm kind of wondering, is it going to be knee-high compared to like me and Frownin, or knee-high compared to humans? And how did they get ships to kind of sail on that? I don't get it.
Well, if you walk into the sea, at some point it's going to be knee-high both for humans and halflings. That's all I can tell you.
Whoa. Mind blown.
Yeah, and I think Frownin is just like...
That's why you're the boss.
Okay, so what have you agreed upon?
I think accompanying the merchant sounds good. Maybe it's like on a float, right?
Yeah, so she's also in the tavern. Let's see. Yeah, Ratu. She's also in the tavern, and she she has made it clear that she would love to hunt like giant crocodiles or some other dangerous predator to hang its hide or antlers or whatever the creature is that you eventually hunt over her hearth. And she pays 10 silver pieces per person, and another 10 if she gets a nice a trophy.
So we shouldn't cut it up too much.
Yeah,
Did I cut? Oh, sorry.
I think like Frogmen goes over to her, and he's like having like this knife in his hand, which he's playing with, and he's like, "So, I heard someone talk about yesterday that you wanted to kill crocodiles."
And so Ratu is a small woman. She's maybe 150, probably not high. Yeah. She has like all the people from Eelton. They look a bit like Southern Asian, so brown skin, dark hair. And she flashes a beautiful smile and says, "Crocodiles! Ah, yes, that would be incredible. But I've heard that there are also other creatures even bigger than crocodiles. Are you a hunter?"
And I think he like looks up at her and says, "Well, depends. We're all hunting for something, aren't we? Not a particular fan of crocodiles, but..." And he like flips his knife up and grabs it. "But I'm sure that we could figure it out. Do you have a boat by any chance?"
I don't.
Well, we need a boat.
Yeah, or a raft maybe. I mean, you take care of this and I pay.
Well, then it's a boat and not a raft.
And are there other small folks accompanying you?
I mean, of course. There's not, you don't, crocodiles, they're not solitary creatures.
No, I mean, are you alone?
No. And I like look back at probably like the group sitting at the table eating breakfast, looking stupidly at Fraunen.
I wave. Hi.
And Ratu claps in her hands and lets off a scream of excitement. "Oh my! 3 more adventures and hunters. Let's go over to them." And she takes your hand and wants to lead you like a small child.
Yeah, I think actually just to other principal Fraunen like hunks her back and like squeezes her arm a little, and I think it's a funny. I think it looks like she really just like stops, because Fraunen is actually pretty strong for a halfling. So she just like yanks her back and says, "Don't do that."
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then he walks past and like yanks her.
Is she bothering you, buddy? Good.
And I think she flushes a little bit. I'm really sorry. That was not my intention. You just look so cute, like a button.
He like looks up at her and like, "Very well, you pay. I'll live with this for, well, my pride." And I just like takes his cup and downs it.
All right. So what are your? Anybody else wants to say something to Ratu? So she essentially says that she likes a big, impressive trophy, and if you agree, it's 10 SP for the trip and an additional 10p for the trophy. But she hints at, a bigger price. If the bigger the trophy, the more is the final payment. So how do you prepare for the journey then? And so there was talk of a boat. Are you buying rations or additional weapons. You can also hire people if you want.
I'm leaving everything else except the boat to the others. I think Frogmen makes it pretty clear that he's in charge of the boat, and then walks off.
Mm-hmm. So anyone else wants to hire a hireling?
Is she fronting us any money, or
Is she? Sorry.
is she fronting? She's paying for the boat.
Oh yeah, fronting. She's oh, you ask her if she's fronting. Let's see. We might have our first roll.
And I think Neil will probably flies her with because she talks frowning up really, and commends Ratu for her impeccable taste. She couldn't get a better guide on this trip, and I am confident that we will be led to the biggest catch of them all.
I'll chime in that Frownen is an absolute genius. He's a mastermind. Do not underestimate him. Man, I've seen him, his plots and plans. He's going to rule this world one day.
Well, looks can be so deceiving. I thought he was a child in a pirate's costume when I first saw him. But if you trust him to be the hunter that he claims he is, well, I trust your judgment. Concerning the payment up front, though, Anil, why don't you roll negotiate? Which is plus, I think, charisma, because you wanted to convince her, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 4 plus nothing, I think. Yeah, that's a straight 4.
That's a straight 4. So she says, yeah, well, I cannot trust you just yet. So let's say I pay you the whole sum once the adventure is over.
And I say, of course, but surely you will provide us with the proper implements for catching the biggest game.
Yes, it must be big. The bigger, the better. Are there crocodiles with antlers? There must be. All right. In the meantime, Frownen, you're looking for a boat. Are you looking for a boat, or are you looking for somebody who rows a boat?
I mean, I think being very realistic about, well, actually, let's say I'm looking for a boat, actually.
Mm-hmm. Just the boat.
Yes.
All right. So in Eelton itself, there's no fishing industry. There's there is the river that goes to Eelton. Most people who hunt in the knee-high sea actually do use rafts, because the knee-high sea is knee-high, and the boats are too deep in the water to the water's not deep enough to actually carry a boat. So I think you have to settle with a raft or craft one.
Well, I'm not crafting one, so it seems like an awful lot of work. So I guess it's a raft.
Yes, and so there are a couple of people who go out into the knee-high sea on rafts, definitely willing to to sell one. So let's see. Just rolling up a random NPC. So you come across a. So you're looking around the town, and there are a couple of the rafts, like maybe 3 on the southeastern end of the town, just outside the town wall. And there's just this one towering giant of man repairing his raft. So what do you say to him?
So, nice raft.
He has also one eye, and he first looks over your head, like looking around for where the voice comes, and says, "Oh, my friend. Yes, it is. It is very nice indeed. Heinal is my name. Who are you?"
Ezekiel.
I see we have the same fate. Fate robbed us of an eye.
I mean, that's not a fate. It's just a boon. I look twice as good now when I look in the mirror. And I think he like looks down at the raft. And also, your raft looks twice as good now. I can only see it with one eye, I think.
He laughs. Sense of humor, my friend. I appreciate that. So you're in need of transport?
Maybe. For the right price.
Are you trying to intimidate him to get a good price, or is that your way of charming people?
I mean, I guess I am intimidating them, probably, let's say.
So they say, you're looking very aggressive. There's no need. So roll your strength. This is negotiate.
That is 11.
And let's see.
9 plus 2.
Wow. Friend, you can have the raft. I mean, it's 5 silver pieces and it's yours.
I think Frogmen sits down on the harbor and like pours up a cup with grog. Sit down. Have a good cup of grog with me, and I'll have it for 3 silver pieces.
So he sits down, and I mean, sitting down, he would be taller than you, and he's towering over you, and he says, "You're running a hard ship. 10 is my minimum price, but why don't I join you on your travel? I like you.
I think Frogmen like smiles at that and like gives him a cup and says, sure. But if you start being less nice, or if you say something bad about my grog, I'll kick you off the boat.
He moves like half a meter away from you and it says, no, my friend. Nothing bad about you or your company. You will be, totally safe. No bad words. Trust me.
Sure.
So, and he downs the grog. So you can write down. You have a follower because of your charming. What's it called? Your charming ways. This is Heinal. I will, in the next break, I will roll his loyalty and so forth. But for the time being, he's towering and one-eyed.
Perfect. I'm going to collect one-eyed people.
So anyone wants, because now it's just for the the image of it's not a harbor. It is like the knee-high sea is more like the swamps of Louisiana. So there's streams and there's these overgrown trees, but it's not like there's no harbor where ships the floats, they are just pulled up on the dry land that surrounds Goldbridge. So the others, do you want to do anything else? Like there's for example a church, but not to pen, unfortunately. There's a market where you could buy stuff. There's the apothecary if you want herbs or poultices or something. And if not, we start our journey.
I have two things. I'd like to buy some rope, and I'd like to buy a spear.
I would say rope and spear is just the normal market price. There's no need to go into any details. You could get a blessing from the temple, I guess. What else is in town? There's a bathhouse that you could use the last time bathing before you go into the ever wet swamps.
I guess I could have a bath. Well, nah, we're pirates. I do have, though, after I buy the rope and the spear, there's one other important thing. I look at Frownin when I see him again. I look very closely and I say, I have one question. What's a crocodile?
I think like Frowning actually kind of like bursts into laugh. It's usually the other way around here, but I think he really is just like, oh, it is green and has a big mouth.
Clubs will work on it, right?
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
I think before we go out, Emil goes down towards the waterfront or the river in the direction of the swamp, and she sees robes. Doesn't really care if there's anyone there, and she's this really tall, gaunt, skinny elf. Looks sort of a little ambiguous, or she doesn't look very feminine or very masculine. But she goes into the filthy water and just lets it wash over her, and she tries to. She's communing with Pen to sort of pick up the streams of this the greatest game in the. If she can like already get a sense of where she needs to go.
Are you praying?
It's yeah, or but only it could be invoking, I guess. Because I am praying, but I already have max favor because I'm trying. I want to get a sign from Pen about which direction we should go, and maybe a vision of this this antlered crocodile that the merchant wants.
Yes. All right. So when you call upon your deity to manifest their power, say what you want to have, what you have happen. In that case, like a sign of what's about to come. And how it falls within at least one of your deity's domains, which is water. It makes sense. So let's see. So your hubris is, I think, 1. This is not like asking too much, I think. And then you bear your holy symbol.
And that it's probably floating in the water in front of me. And I was angling for occupy a place sacred to my faith as well. In the stream as well.
And then let's see. Okay, so yeah, make your roll plus hubris, which is 1 in this case.
Mm-hmm. So that's 10. Actually.
Awesome. So the goddess will give you a sign, which will point into a direction for a certain amount of time. If you want that sign, like if you want your cork, for example, to point into the direction of the best monster you can imagine, you would have to perma burn an attribute.
Yeah, but then and then it will point in that direction for the duration of our hunt.
Yes, until you have killed it.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I'll perma burn my strength down to 15.
How does it manifest? Like what do people see? What is different after you burned 1 point of strength?
Yeah, I think she focuses on this crystal ball or this glass ball, and she's already quite gaunt, but you can also see her. She's toned. She has a lot of muscles, but they're sort of visibly shriveling a little and sort of entering this this ball, and the little needle on top of the corpse starts to point in one direction.
Has Pen manifest herself in the past, like in signs in the land? Has the water risen, or like waves, or is there an animal form that she shows herself sometimes?
I think it's quite subtle. Like if not to Emil, of course. She views every shift in the stream over a stone, or the squawking of the gulls, or the glimmering of a fish, like a sign. But the only big sign was when a giant wave, because she was a seafaring elf and lived with a tribe, but a giant wave crushed their rafts and spread them 4 weeks, and probably killed a few of her tribe, and she was blown onto land. She took it as a sign that she should be walking this land and not permanently going on the sea.
So I think what you see in your bowl is, and the reason why the cork moves into the direction is that the water starts to ripple, as if like there's like sound waves or something going through it, and the cork moves with the pilot wave to one towards one direction, and the ripples actually stay. So the ripples, it's the whole time like trembling the water. Cool. So if nobody else wants to do anything, we are setting out. And I would like to use a playtest move, which I haven't tried out yet. And it is in the Gaunt Marches folder. I can, let's see, I can just link to it. It's a bit different to the second edition move, and very different from first edition. Share. So let's see how it works. This is the move. Okay. So when you embark on a journey, say where you're headed. I mean, obviously, Anil has a perfect compass. The judge will indicate one to three potential routes, their known advantages and drawbacks, and how many legs comprise each. So, I mean, your compass doesn't indicate obviously the length of the journey. But if you talk to Heinal, so let's imagine we are at noon, maybe Heinal is at his float, you're there as well, and he says, well, traveling through the knee-high sea is a dangerous proposition, as you can imagine. There is the hunting route of the saurians, or lizard folk, and if we want to get deep into the knee-high sea, and he points at, I don't know, we assume that you hold your bowl and you can see where the cork points. If you really want to go towards the heart of the knee-high sea, we will have to travel through the territory of the saurians, which is the quicker route. It would take us about 4 days. We can also circumvent. It takes longer. It takes a week, 7 days, but we should be a bit safer. What do you choose? And mechanically, it's the difference between, let's see, perilous and what's the other one? Perilous and dangerous.
I think. I'm sorry, please. Are you? Do you want to say something? Or?
No, I'm good with whatever the boss wants. Before I also get on the raft, just to make absolutely clear, I take my nice chainmail, I put it in my backpack. Living on the sea, I know what happens when you wear heavy chainmail and you fall into the water.
I mean, it's the knee-high sea, so you would probably, your head would still stick out being a dwarf and all.
Oh, then I'll just keep it
But
on.
I mean, in a puddle of water, so it's a smart move, I guess.
Yeah, nah, I've had too many experiences nearly drowning. I'll keep it in my backpack.
Oh, guys, can we make like a 5 minutes break and maybe you can discuss things? Or we just make the break?
Yeah, I'll go to the toilet.
I just rolled high null, which is super fun. I don't know, Mikael, do you have the Perilous Wilds?
Yes.
Supplement? Rolling followers is the best.
Yeah, it's nice.
So when you command them, you roll plus quality, and he has a quality of, they have quality of 0 and a loyalty of +1, and they also have like hidden quirks and like a hidden cost that you can find out by talking to them. All right, we are embarking on our journey. What route do you want to take?
Well, I would suggest to take the safe route. I know that there are many, that you're very brave warriors, but to make the decision easier, I would say that I'm extremely scared of the Saurians, and you can also absolutely blame it on me. But I would prefer the safe route, in fact.
Heinal is nodding like viciously.
What adventurers. Very well. You're rowing then for an extra day.
Got out of it.
So it's the safe route then. The first leg is 3 days. So what we do is, so the raft is about, let's say, how many square meters will it be? I mean, you all fit comfortably on it. It is pretty pretty sturdy. It does have a sail that you can use if the wind is right. There are 2 poles that can be used to push yourself forward. There's a small like makeshift kind of tent, like 2 poles, and then a tarp over it. But that is where Heinal has his provisions. There's maybe 1 person, especially maybe 2 if you're small, like maybe Leifur and Fraunen would fit there with the provisions. And if you would put out everything, like 3 grown-ups could hide under the tarp. So where do you position yourself on that boat? What do we see? We have like a small montage of the 3 days. Who's rowing? Let's start with Istvan.
I think Istvan would, in fact, volunteer to push the pole, one of the poles, and he has no trouble sleeping under the sky, as in the last couple of months, having almost no money at all. He's been in the environment, like the area around the village, than the village itself. So no problem for him.
And what is Anil doing? I mean, it's your element. You're on the water. As I said, the landscape is a little bit like Louisiana swamps. What do we see Anil doing?
I think she doesn't touch the poles. She sits by Istvan, with manning the pole, and her feet are dragging in the water, and she has a fishing pole that sort of lazily swings by, and she's. It was like 3 days travel.
Yeah.
So,
And the first day, and it's like it starts to rain as soon as you leave town.
and then she probably puts her face up, and she has been constantly babbling about the ways of Penn and how it was all we were all put together here for a reason, like flotsam. You know, it gathers by the winds of Penn, and you get these bits from all over the world coalescing, and it's a bit difficult to follow, to be honest. But I don't know. Maybe Iswan finds it endearing, or maybe he finds it. It doesn't seem preachy, but he might find it endearing, or he might find it annoying. I don't know.
Yeah, how does Istvan react to the what's it called if you preach proselytizing?
Proselytizing? I'm not sure. So it's yeah, he finds it a challenging concept that he kind of feels a bit dared to comprehend, and he would like to understand it better. Water is not so much his like element, but he's really intrigued in a way.
And actually, Heinal also seems to, he cocks its head when you're talking about flotsam and the way, human or like the way people go through life, encountering the chaotic things. And what do we see life were doing? In the rain, in the heavy rain.
The rain is awesome. Like deep underground, you never ever got rain, so it's like it's a new experience each time. So she's generally just standing in the rain, laughing. If Istvan has problems with like moving the raft, she'll like take a pole and kind of move through. Being a dwarf, pretty good stamina, and also she's really strong. At the preaching, she may stop doing the rowing subtypes at the preaching and just kind of sit down and look starry-eyed. She doesn't get any of it, but sounds really cool.
And what do we see Frogmen doing during the 3 days?
Scouting for crocodiles.
So you would be in the front of the raft.
Yeah.
And the religious talk doesn't really faze you.
Not at all.
All right, so let's roll plus danger of the route. Open this again, and the danger is it is dangerous. So we roll. See. And I think because Frogmen is in the front and would probably see danger first, please roll a 2d6 plus 1.
So can I just ask, is Ratu with us?
Is
the merchant Ratu with
Oh,
us?
yeah. Oh, sorry. I completely forgot about her. Ratu sits under the tarp. She's dressed in furs that she has put around her ostentatious clothes. It's like a white, I don't know, it must be a polar bear. God knows where it comes from. And she has a small stove. She makes it in it's like a metal bowl, and on occasions she hands out warm, like very aromatic tea for the rowers.
I rolled a 7.
So a 7. So an incident occurs at some point on the way. So while I roll this, so I have the feeling that there is like a conversation going on between Anil and Istvan. So you keep each other's company, maybe in the evening or during the day, and so there is there's a move for that. Keep company when you spend time conversing with a party member. Roll plus bonds you have with a person, and then we have these results. So the question is, I mean, the subject seems to be your ontology of the world, or the way you view the world. So I think because Anil was initiating the conversation, could you roll plus bond with Istvan?
Is it plus bond or is it plus stat?
Oh yeah. It is. You are completely right. Yeah, it's on the old, on the new travel and exploration move. If you look, it says roll plus bond.
Okay. Yeah, I probably don't have the.
Yeah, the second edition had plus stat.
I think I have the
And you have one.
Because this is keep company.
Yeah. It's on the travel and exploration thing that I shared.
Oh,
it's
there's
also,
a new keep company.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It's this is a playtest.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
State of the art stuff.
All right, so I roll plus 1. Sorry. So that's 7 then.
So you can either describe how the discussion goes or act it out, like play the scene, and then you choose one from the list below. You gain 1 bond with them, they gain 1 bond with you. Refresh all marked bonds each of you has with the other. I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah. We can act it out, or we can, but I think at least she starts. She has been babbling all through the. Maybe it's nearing night, and the rain maybe lets up a little. I don't know. Or at least she gets a little calmer, and she says, "You know, when those brigands had me at sword point, another woman might think that everything was done for, but I was confident. I knew that the streams of fate would provide a way out. I could sense that I was like a piece of bark tumbling in the river, and then you came like a stone in the stream that changed my course, and I might add the course of those brigands.
You know, I think that I don't see this fate you're talking about like a stream. I know that I think we can understand the world and change it, but I frequently in the things you say I find much to learn. Although I don't want to offend you. I absolutely I absolutely am fascinated by this view of the floating of fate, and but I don't. I have to say I do not believe in it. But what I think is that there is wisdom in what you say, even if you don't subscribe to this exact worldview. And what I do find is that I think it was a mere coincidence, to be honest, that I turned up in this moment, but I'm very glad for it.
Yes. My friend Istvan, Pen does not require you to believe or to accept her as anything other than coincidence. Just know that I see the trickling of the streams, and even though I don't always know where they lead, I think we will come out on the right side.
Well, just the better. Then, so you say I do not have to believe in her. That is good. That is good. So I can stick to my word, and she will still, just in case she does exist, things will still go the way they should work.
Whatever way they will go, it will be the way they should go. That is the nature of faith. Yeah.
So while the two mystics behind you are talking, Frogmen, it's the second day. It's approaching the evening, and you can see to the left of you something floating on the water. It looks like some kind of nest. It's moss and branches like bound together, and there are you can see two bottles in that nest, floating nest, and like a leathery sack, and it's drifting, you know, maybe 50 meters or so to the side of your raft.
I think. What are people doing on the raft at this point, except the two talking?
So, what is Leifur doing?
Well, seeing as they're talking and we need to keep going, I'm rowing.
Heinal is rowing as well while they have to talk, and Ratu is shivering under the tarp.
I'm just saying, like, there's something on the side here. Can you see what it is? Anyone?
I will pick up my mace and tuck the pole to the side and walk over. What is it, boss?
So you can see the same thing. It's about maybe 4 square meters. It floats on the water. It is definitely it doesn't look as if it's a completely natural thing. It doesn't look like an animal's nest either, especially because there are these bottles and the sack floating on it.
Can you reach it with your pole?
Yeah, definitely. If you row towards it, you can try to pull it towards you with a pole.
Actually, I also have an idea. I take a deep breath, put my head underwater, and see if I can see what it is underwater.
So there's definitely like it extends like half a meter underwater. So it's a bit sagging, the whole thing, but it's not attached to anything. There's not anything special under it.
Okay, pull my head up, shake out my hair, and go, it's a pile of junk.
Can I have a fishing pole. Could I try to hook it and pull it towards us? With the sack, it seems interesting.
Yeah, I think you are. I mean, if you're using a fishing pole regularly, then you should be able to hit a target that big and pull it towards you. When you get your hands on it, the bottles, there are 4 bottles in total. They don't have any kind of etiquette. Is that a word? Like, there's no information about it. It's corked and sealed, and the sack is like very like raw animal hide, closed with a hemp rope.
I'll open the sack, I guess.
Is there anything in the bottles?
All right, I'll have my like mace ready just in case something leaps out.
So inside of the sack is dried and salted fish, and you can also see that in the back of the floating nest are about a dozen or so, I would say, eggs, like completely round eggs, about the size of a fist.
Is there anything in the bottles?
Yes, there's a liquid in the bottles. The bottle is dark brown, so it's difficult to say what kind of liquid.
Frogmen opens the bottles and drinks.
When you open the bottle, there's a smell of sweet wine.
Oh my god. Immediately takes a sip. A big sip.
I make a die of fate about the quality. This is the shit. This is really, really good self-made wine.
Oh my god. This is the best day. Are those crocodile eggs? Please say they are crocodile eggs.
Whatever they are, they're breakfast.
I think probably Istvan has the biggest chance to know whether or not, or what kind of eggs they are.
I was gonna say, so know something. Okay, it's plus int, right? So yeah, I think Istvan, having been around in the nature side of the area. So I got, wait a sec. Yeah, I got a 9.
So these are frogman eggs. You do know that, well, like all creatures, frogmen are fond of their, children. You also know that frogman eggs are actually delicious.
And frogmen are not saurians.
No, actually they are arch enemies.
So what say you? In fact, we could eat those, but I suggest that we keep them and keep them safe. And if we come across frogmen, we try to make a profit out of them. this would be much more profitable than just eating those eggs.
I'm okay with that if Boss is okay with that. But more important question, Boss, can I have some of that wine?
Yeah, I think I let out the burp and then just like hand it over.
Oh yeah, I like to have a good sip.
And Emil, she also appreciates the fine wine, but she really appreciates dried fish. So she shares them around and says they really go a treat with good wine. The clue is to chew it properly before you, and maybe she even takes out a hammer and softens them up for the novices of dried fish.
So you get all in all 5 rations of this dried fish, and what did I say? 4 bottles of sweet wine. I guess 3.5 because there are a couple of fans of this sweet wine, and Ratu is one of them, and Heinal as well. So just write down 3 bottles, and then the rest of the 3 days pass rather uneventful. What do you do with the eggs? So you keep them safe, you keep them warm.
Should probably keep them wet as well.
We can just drag the raft behind, or like the nest behind.
Do we mark off 3 days of rations as well?
Yeah.
I'm pretty strong. I can carry like some of the other rations if you guys want.
I need some of the dried fish. I'm down.
All right. So let's see. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I guess we should have triggered past the night for every day, but let's do it for the last day. So it is still raining. So keeping the frog eggs wet is not a problem. Keeping warm is a little bit of an issue. I mean, you can. What do you do in the evenings? Do you moor the raft on a dry island and make a fire, or do you stay on the raft? What's the normal procedure?
Probably mooring the raft and having a fire is a good idea. I like fire. Also, if I'm taking watch, I will wear my chainmail when I take watch while on land.
Yeah, I think I comment on that and says like, okay, you took it off to not drown, right? But when you're on watch, you're alone. I don't see your logic here, friend.
Well, I mean, just like I like being protected when I'm on watch, and then I'll take it off when we go back onto the raft.
I think no, I won't let you fall down into the water and drown. And I take like my frog and I sit beside you.
All right, then. Excellent. So actually, if you say that I won't drown, I'll keep my armor on all the time.
Yes, I'll make sure you don't drown.
I trust you, boss.
So it sounds like you seek out like one of these small islands, maybe around a tree stump with the roots. On the 3rd day, Heinal is looking for wood. You know, he's climbing up the tree. Or actually, he's so tall he can just break off branches from the tree and then makes a small fire. Ratu is sitting next to the fire because it is now that when the sun goes down and it's still raining and you are all wet from the days. So she's sitting at the fire shivering. What are the others doing? Are you, for example, Anil, are you preaching before meals? Do you say anything when you pass the? Or is anybody preparing meals, or do you just eat the dried fish?
I think
So Anil, sorry.
would prepare meals. I mean, he has some of his halfling heritage left. Can't just eat them dried.
And Anil?
Yeah, you can absolutely eat them dried, farming. It's almost better that way. I will happily eat them in the halfling stew as well, of course.
And what do we see? So you're all sitting around the fire. Is it like more serene? Is it is it just the sound of the swarms, the croaking of the frogs and the buzzing of the insects? Is it very lively? What is life we're doing?
Definitely snacking down on some of that salted fish, having a bit of wine, wearing my chainmail. I am happy. So I'm all smiles. If anyone tells a joke, I'll laugh.
But are you the one telling the jokes?
I might even tell jokes, like old dwarf jokes. They're kind of dumb.
And
I try to stay away from the elven slurs that we occasionally use, because I like this elf.
Oh, well, the dwarves do have some racist elven jokes, obviously. And some of them are actually quite funny, but not telling them into Anil's face might be a good idea.
I like her. I'm not gonna like try to cheese her off. Plus, I met elves are not as bad as they seem. Plus, they're obviously not eating dandelions because this fish is damn good.
And Istvan?
Istvan is kind of serenely staring into a glass of wine, which he hasn't had for a long time, and kind of, I think he's more or less staring on the floor. I can't fry for food, right? It would take too long.
You would lose one day, but I mean you can propose that to the rest.
It's either that or I would need help on the way, because otherwise I'm going to be starving, which, I mean, you might not care, but
Anil is sharing really freely with dried fish. So if you needed to just cross out however many, I have 2. I've already crossed out 3 for myself, but if you need 2, take them.
I'm very much obliged.
Think nothing of it. Penn has provided, and we will all. I think you will see that in time that this is also a gift from Penn.
Well, then it trails off in a lengthy conversation.
Cool. So, what is the watch order? I mean, we can write it down once and for all, so that we don't have to do it every time anew. Anyone wanting to go first or last? That's obviously the most attractive parts of the watch.
I think Frogmen would probably watch for going last, so we can make breakfast for everyone.
I'll go in the middle of the night, mainly because darkness. I'm used to it.
Anyone first?
No one.
Anil can probably go first. She likes to be able to really enjoy the rain.
So it's Anil, Istvan, Lifur, and Fraunen. And let's see. So you pass the night. When you settle into sleep, remind everyone of the watch order, which we did, and roll plus safety. We determined that the safety is dangerous, so +1. And let's have Anil make the first roll.
So that's an 11.
Nice. The night passes without incident and everyone gets some restful sleep. That's what we want to hear. Okay, so the second leg of the journey takes 4 days until Heinar says, and then we reach the heart of the knee-high sea. Your compass is guiding you, Anil, obviously. So on the second leg of the journey, I think probably what's the relationship between Fraunen and Lifur? It seems as if Lifur accepts Fraunen's expertise, or maybe like charisma. But what does Fraunen think of Lifur?
I think. I mean, I kind of honestly, I think Fraunen kind of cares about Lifur in a way, in the setting that he kind of took care of her when she first came on the ship.
Yeah.
And I think it's like this kind of, well, as I described, if this was a Dungeon World bond, it would be she is my lucky charm, and I think it says a lot about his relationship with her.
And it also sounds, Fraunen, that you are like relatively often alone in the front of the raft, staring out into the to look out for any kind of danger. So maybe make the so what is the what kind of inner monologue would we hear as a voiceover? What are you thinking about? Or is it more like a Zen state of not thinking about anything?
Yeah, I think it is a little bit of that, because I think Fraunen looking out on the ocean is, or like in this case, not really an ocean, I guess, but it's kind of like that's what he's doing, and he's thinking about his task. And I think if you were in Fraunen's head any other moment, he would probably be thinking about a lot of things, but not when he's doing that.
Okay, so when you spend time alone with your thoughts, share your internal monologue. If everyone agrees your thoughts are meaningful, take +1 forward to act upon them. But you were not really thinking about anything other than, I mean,
task. I was thinking about my task, I think. Like looking out in the ocean is to look for things that are dangerous, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Other ships or animals.
Yeah, fictionally it makes sense to give +1 forward because you're actually looking for trouble. So if everyone agrees, you get the +1, and then for the rest of the journey, the second leg, let's do the roll again. Set out. When you start the next leg of a journey, roll plus safety. So maybe Envil could, Istvan, could you roll +1 to see if you come across any kind of danger or discovery?
Six.
A 2?
No, I got a 6.
A 6. That's as bad. All right. So after the first day, let's see. Frowning, you see what looks like another nest, but bigger. It's about, like, I would say 15 square meters. And it is not a nest, it is rather a hill. And it's made from, like, organic matter. You see straw and branches, but you also have the distinct feeling that there's maybe some animal trapped inside because it is moving, and you are steering more or less towards it.
Yeah, I think I just shout, "Nest ahoy!"
How does the rest react to that?
All right. Well, I'll walk up, club on my shoulder, say, "All right, boss, orders." So I have like the club. I've got my shield, but I can get back to the pole if we need to like skedaddle.
I think like steer clear. No need
Righto.
to.
So I'll start steering clear of this nest.
And I'm probably checking my compass to sort of guide him and see if we need to cross it or if we can go around.
Yeah, funny you say that, because the cork points directly at it.
And
So
even if he sort of does it still point directly at it or through it?
if you move it around, the cork moves towards the mount, and that is when it rises, and it is a creature with it looks like a mixture between a frog. It has this very, very broad head and some kind of gigantic straw effigy with its limbs and tentacles extending like 4 or 5 meters from its gigantic straw-like body, and it lashes out at the boat. What do you do?
I will probably scream. I think our quarry has found us, and I'll scream at Leaper to sort of break hard to sort of try to avoid it.
Yeah,
So
I
let's
will
say
yell. I will yell heave and try to push the boat away from the attack.
Yeah, and Heinal is there as well, and he's helping you in this endeavor. So you're trying to steer the boat away from the danger, the immediate danger. Looks like a saving throw with strength to me.
That works for me, so I'll just double check my streak. I think it's +2. It is. I will do the roll for on roll your party. So modifier of 2. Submit. I don't know where that went. Or did it do anything? Otherwise, I'll just roll my dice. Oh, last roll. 6 + 2, so I got an 8.
Nice. What is the rest doing? So in the front of the, in the back of the boat, Lifur and Heinal are trying to get the raft away from the danger. What is Frogmen doing in the front of the boat?
I am positioning myself so I am as little visible as possible.
Where do you hide?
I mean, I am among the our stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just like bending over a little, standing very still, and taking like some of the stuff over, like some of the tarp or something over me.
And you feel Ratu embracing you and trying to hide behind you even. What is Anil doing?
Yeah, I think while in the back of her mind, she's asking herself, why would Penn guide them directly into this? And she's while the boat is spinning on the raft stream, she's looking to see if there's just sort of studying the terrain around us to see if there are any opportunities to sort of evade it and then maybe get around it or gain an advantage in some way here.
Yeah, so are you looking at the terrain, not at the monster? So you're trying to find like a place to hide or like a elevated place or something. Okay, that sounds like perceive.
Mm-hmm. And that's plus wisdom, right?
Yeah, it's plus wisdom.
Oh. So that's 12.
Oh wow. So Lifur, you can push the raft hard out of the way, but in doing so, you would have to, you're pushing so hard that you would have to let go of the pole itself.
I'll do it. I mean, that way we can. I figure that way we can like figure out everything else. But right now, we just don't want to get smashed.
You could also hold on to the raft, to the pole, and push the boat like a little bit sideways, and then the tentacle would not completely destroy the raft, but maybe hit, the side.
Nah, I don't want anyone like to fall over. So I can get another pole later. I'll sacrifice the pole to get us out of the way. Clearly.
Yes. So with an act of incredible strength, you catapult the raft out of the way. The tentacle slashes into the water, and the creature melts into the swamp, like using the momentum of the slash, and it seems to dissolve underwater. But you, Anil, see that it reassembles itself under the water, trying to get under the raft itself.
All right, so and can I spend the hope to see if I see like a tall tree that we could get up in, or
so there's this funny mechanic where you want there to be a tall tree. So let's see if luck is on your side.
Right.
So
because I was thinking what I got from the perceive, I got 2 holes, right?
Yeah, let's see. You get a plus. Spend your hold +1 to ask a question about the object of your attention, either now or later. Yeah, I would. What would you suggest? Use the +1 on the luck roll.
Yeah, that works as well.
Okay, so roll plus luck and +1.
Yeah, and I have 0 luck. But, and that's 8 in total.
So what do you want to do with it? There is definitely a tall tree.
Yeah, I was thinking that we could sort of scramble up there and hopefully grab the spears that Ratu brought, so that we could have the high ground and sort of pelt it with the spears without being in danger of sinking in the element of the.
So what do you do? I mean, let's say your luck gives you the fact that the tall tree has its long branches extending to your height, so you could just grab a branch and then climb onto the tree.
And then I'll probably, because Frogmen was in the back right, so I'll scream to him, "Toss me the spears!" And I'll jump up and grab the branch and do that whole elfy Legolas thing.
Yeah, so you're quickly climbing up the branch, and you were shouting to Heinal?
Yeah, or whoever's in the back with the spears and their gear.
Yeah, Heinal throws you a spear, but the others now feel that the creature that is under the raft is trying to stand up. So the whole raft is raising as well. What do you do? Water dripping from the sides. Sorry, Istvan, what are you doing?
Yeah, I was thinking like, could there be vines on the tree? So basically I would like to speak to the vines and try to restrain the animal.
Yeah, it's yeah, like your mental picture is completely right. All these trees are strangled by these vines that climb up on it, so there's no need to establish that fact. What is Frogmen doing while the raft is rising?
So this mound or whatever it was, was that entirely that thing that's got under the boat now?
Yeah, it seems to be entirely the thing that's under the boat now.
Well,
it's a gigantic monster.
Well, I think he grabs his pack and proceeds to run towards the tree.
Ratu is still embracing you. Do you shrug her off or pull her with you?
Oh yeah, god damn it. Well, so am I on the part of the boat that of the float that is like on the up, or that's on the down?
No, it's like the monster is so big that it's completely resting on its head or whatever the part of the body it is. So it is skewered a little bit. It's skewered up, but it's more or less level.
Well, I am daring, so screw that stuff. I'm just gonna take my sword and I'm just gonna chop down on it.
It's through like between the space between the logs, obviously. Nice.
Yeah.
And so
rip.
Screaming, let's try to lure it on dry land.
Well, is there any like dry land in the vicinity?
If there's a tree.
Yeah, like the roots that that support the tree are dry and definitely big enough to support people. So while Frogmen is rolling his attack.
I mean, I'm thinking this might be a backstab, literally.
Yeah. Well, the monster it does not expect, like an attack from that direction. That is true.
Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna roll meanwhile. Whoops. That failed miserably. 2.
That can't be good.
2 great skulls.
Istvan, you are conjuring the chaotic magical powers that are bestowed in you. So let's have a look at casting a spell, because this is really cool. So what we need to determine is the power you are spending. So the effect is you want the vines to ensnare the creature.
Yes.
So if you want, because the creature is gigantic, if you want the effect to really grab it and like the vines to completely surround it, that would be a major effect, which is 3 points. Then the range is near, which would be 2 additional points, which is 5. It is 1 target, which is 1 is 6. And how long do you want to have the effect? Like the duration is instant, so it grabs the thing and release it the next moment, which is 0. Or it has a numerical value which I can use like ammo. Like every time something happens, I can tick it off.
Yeah, I would. So let's do it so everybody's able to get in an attack, maybe. So.
Duration of 1.
Yeah.
Okay, but then we are already 3, 5, 6, 7. Do you have 7 power?
Power 3, I think.
Do you have like components, magical components that you can spend? Eat something. You have a magical orb, maybe that gives you a +1. No. Okay, so we have to work with 3. Let's see. We can reduce the effect itself. Like a moderate effect could be that it is not ensnared completely, but partially. Like vines are shooting out of the tree and grabbing one of the tentacles to hold it at place. That is a possibility. Or, I mean, you could tell the vines to come down to grab all of you and to pull you up. That would be a minor effect.
Yeah, I guess the other. Yeah, everything else is beyond 3 already. If it's a moderate effect, even a single target close because I'm not touching it, that's already
4.
4, yeah.
That's true.
So yeah, let's just get us all up on the tree to sling spears.
Okay, so we have minor effect. We have reach. And then area of effect would be just you, single target.
Oh, okay. Sing. Okay. Well, I could have just climbed.
All right, so cast your spell.
Okay, it's plus int, right?
Yeah.
So that's oh, that's 9.
That's a 9. All right, cool. So let's roll back to Anil. Anil, you are. Oh, sorry, I think I skipped Leafur. What was Leafur doing?
So Leafur is going to grab her huge mace, run to the front of the raft, and then just swing down. So essentially, it's going to smack it in the face.
Nice.
Now, I don't know if I can do that and at the same time do that particular fighter move, which is no guts, no glory.
Yeah, definitely no guts, because you are attacking a gigantic monster more or less on your own. I mean,
All right.
that doesn't ask you for guts.
So it's that plus wisdom. My wisdom is +1, so I shall roll that first. So modifier of 1, submit. Ooh, I got a 10.
Awesome.
All right, and I shall choose these effects for it. I'll have +1 armor until I'm incapacitated, because that will probably be handy. I'll take +1 ongoing until I suffer damage, and all my allies who witness my courage or foolhardiness take +1 forward.
Cool.
And then just do the attack. Now, do I have to spend my metal before I make my attack roll?
I think so. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I want to revel in battle, essentially. Oh, no, it's when if I roll a 10. So I'll see if I roll a 10 for my attacking. Okay, and do I get +1? Okay, well, I'll go there. My strength is 2. I got +1 forward, so that's 3 right now. And do I have to spend luck before or after?
Afterwards.
Okay, I shall see what happens first. Okay, I got a 10, so I don't need to spend the luck. I'm going to spend 1 point of metal to stun it.
Is that part of the...
Yeah, there's a revel in battle. When you fight or shoot, roll and roll a +10, you may spend 1 metal to add 1 or more of the following effects to the move result at the cost of 1 metal per effect. And I want to inflict a handicap, such as stunned.
Awesome. Yes. So you strike. What is the strike hard or strike true or a handicap? I see it.
Yeah.
Inflict a condition. I think. Let's see. It is.
I figured whacking it in the face would be like.
Yeah. Oh. Exactly. Yeah, I think stunned for a moment is appropriate.
And do I roll damage as well? So do I roll?
And you do roll your damage, obviously.
And is that a D10 then?
That is your weapon. What is your weapon?
Mace.
Let's see. The mace. I have very many windows open.
Yeah, me too. I should look that up.
The mace is weapons melee.
1d6.
Is a d6.
All right, I shall roll that.
And it also has forceful and stun. So.
Okay, so 1d6. Oh, sorry, that would be. Is that d6? No. 1d6. Submit. I do 4 damage.
Awesome. And you can feel your mace connecting with. It's like hitting a sack filled with manure or something. It's like this wet sound, but you feel the creature trembling. At the same time, 2 or 3, like at the same time, like literally at the same time, 2 of the tentacles shoot from under Frogmen, breaking the raft in 2, grabbing you and dragging you underwater. So it drags you underwater, Frogmen, and then receives the hit, which stuns it momentarily, which means it releases you, but you are still like underwater. It's this muddy water. You can maybe see like 5 centimeters. You have lost track of what's up and what's down. So, Frogmen, what do you do? Oh, and obviously you get damage. So let's see. It is a. That could be the end of Frogmen, to be honest. Oh wow, it's a 2.
Well, I'm alive. I mean, you might think that this is an unusual situation for Frogmen, but I guess, I mean, falling down in the water, not knowing which side is up and down, is not that common. And I think, even though it hurts a little bit, I try to like, I think I try to like swim under it to get like around on the other side to like distract it.
Yeah, so you don't have really a sense of where's up and where's down, but you do have a sense where is the monster, so you can maneuver yourself behind it, I guess, or under it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like, I'm assuming that they know where I am, and if I swim under it on the other side, it will distract them.
So you are a good swimmer. I think we established that. I think it's more a question of do you get to the place without being. On the other hand, it is stunned for the second. So yeah, you swim under that weird mud creature. Preparing your next move, I guess. So let's get back to Anil. Anil, you are on one of the branches. Heinel has thrown his spear to you. What do you do?
And did the vines lift Istvan up into the tree?
Yes, the vines did shoot down, grab him, and carrying out of reach of the creature and place. Yeah, I mean, where do you want to end? You can command the vines, Istvan.
I'd like to be somewhere a bit far, a bit out of the reach of the tentacles, if possible, to be able to cast the acid, terrible acid, next round.
So I think it's probably a branch above you, Anil.
Yeah. So I'll and now the creature is stunned for a minute now.
Yeah, for a moment, I would say, yeah. Or for your next move.
Yeah, excellent. Then I think I will trust in fate and make because I have the spear now. So I think I will see where Frogmen was going, and so just plunge with the spear and try to hit it.
Oh wow! You're jumping from the branch with your spear extended.
Yeah, because I need to probably spend some favor, so that's why I need to trust fate to make this move.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. It's a crazy move, but you know, fate rewards the daring. Are you angling for a certain, like a divine move, like divine intervention or something?
It's not really that, but it says that when I make any move that falls within the domain of my deity, I may spend favor before I roll the dice. So that was the way I sought to make it up to fate, because I'm not in the water, so it had a good fate.
Let's see. Which one is it? Sorry.
I could spend favor to get pluses, so I don't know. This would probably be like a saving throw, maybe with strength, but
Oh yeah.
maybe also with luck. I don't know. But I want to spend favor to increase, so I have a fair chance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds. You sent like a quick prayer to Pen. You can definitely spend that favor, and I would say like jumping from the branch into the water. Yeah, it's probably strength. You want to hit it as hard as possible, I guess.
Then that's possible. I'll spend 2 favor, so it ends up at +3. Let's see. Ooh, okay. I didn't even need that. So I guess fate was with me anyway. But so that's 6 and 5 +3. That's
14.
13. Yeah, 14 actually.
Nice, incredible. So yeah, you describe how it looks like. You definitely hurt the creature. I mean, depending on your damage roll.
I think she takes like the branch is a little spring, so she sort of builds up momentum and leaps down, and like a spearfisher diving into the water.
Yeah, I mean, Istvan, you see that crazy move. I don't know if you want to hold on with your acid rain, because you know, Anil is plunging into the water. You feel the spear like breaking through its this weird mud straw hide that covers it. Make a damage roll, please.
And the spear is a D8, right?
Spear should be a D8.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, D8.
Yeah, that's a 2.
Always when you need it. So although like the spear you know, rushes into this weird what's it called, amorphous body of the creature, you don't think you hurt it too badly. So we have obviously Frogmen under this crazy big blob, and we have Leifur on the raft that is falling apart. So let's go maybe to Frogmen. Frogmen, you can feel that the creature is trying to like almost dissolve, like parts of it detaching from itself and moving apart. So you have like one moment to strike it in its like whole form.
That's what I'm gonna do then. Probably like going on. I'm still probably not even at the other end of it. Like I'm just sensing it as I swim under it.
Yeah.
Like use the opportunity to just like shove my short sword into its belly or whatever it is.
So that is plus strength, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that is a 14.
Wow. Let's deal your damage then.
Is this a backstab?
I think under the water it does sense you.
Yeah, cool. It's a D6 then. Let's see. That's a 4. And it's plus strength, or is it just a 4?
It is just the 4, I guess.
Then it's a 4.
Yeah, you deal your damage. Okay. And so you slash at it, and you can definitely feel that one of these like inky, muddy tentacles is cut off by your move. So Lifur, the monster had thrashed the raft in two parts while you were on it. So you just let it roll. Do you try to land on the land? What's your plan?
I see Boss get taken down, and I'm like, Boss! So as it disintegrates, I'm kind of staying in the same place and just hammering on its head over and over again because I am enraged.
So before you can, so you take into account that you can definitely hit it, but you will be after your hit, you will be thrown off the raft.
That's fine.
Oh, okay.
That is fine. Boss got hurt. I'm gonna hurt it.
So make your move. Make your attack roll.
Okay. Submit. I got an 11. I will, because I got over 10 on this, I'm going to spend my last metal, and I'm going to strike hard. So I'm going to add my strength to the damage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that means
modifier.
Yeah, my strength modifier. Not my whole strength. That would be awesome, but no.
That would be weird.
That would be, wow, I was really angry. All right, roll. So the total is I do 8 damage, and then I'm thrown off.
So, I'm really bad at math. All right. So, Frogmen, you can feel it's trying to get away, but it gets smacked by a terrible blow. And Lifur, you're flying away, hitting your shoulder maybe against the tree trunk. But Frogmen, you can feel that it is not trying to dissolve anymore, but trying to really get away, like moving into one direction. And from above the water, I think, Anil, you can also see it moving. Like there's water. Sorry, not Anil, Istvan. Istvan and Anil, you both can see, the waves, the mud, like burbling where it tries to move away. So, Istvan, what do you do?
If it's moving away, I assume it's getting a little bit off Anil.
Yeah.
So then I will try to poison it.
Make you move.
So that's cast a spell, and I would single target is 1. So single target. Oh, and it's reach, I guess, 10 feet. I'm quite a lot away.
Yeah, I would say it is far. Is it far? Yeah.
600 feet. Like, okay.
No, not 600 feet, but like far near. Let's see. Near is something that you can throw. Yeah, let's say near. That makes more sense.
Okay, then I can't do anything. Yeah, near is.
quick question for Asbjorn. Does Istvan have to spend the power like all the other currency, like metal and?
I think you regain it each time you cast your next spell. You start
Okay,
the same.
so you always
That's
start
fine.
with the same.
Yeah.
I thought so as well. Just want to make sure. So let's see. What can we do? You want to do the acid thing. So near is 2.
I get
yeah,
a different
single
table, I
card.
think. Okay.
The spellcaster table, power cost, and then effect, range, area of effect. Yeah. What could you do with a terrible acid? I don't know. I think it is actually probably too far for that acid effect.
Okay.
I mean, you could also do the crazy stunt that Anil was doing and jumping down and getting closer to it, and then shoot your acid.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll just be released by the branches falling down on it and do the acid thing, touching it.
I think we can let the vine thing flow. So they have grabbed you up, and then they can just throw you like a what's it called? What do children do? A
swing.
A swing.
Oh, yeah.
And swing you towards the creature.
Fantastic.
So you fall into the water. You are upon the creature, which is it seems like it has lost like half of its size. You're sitting more or less on its on on its neck, very very short neck. What do you do?
Yeah, sorry, I can't find the table, so you'll have to help me. So I have a
Yeah.
power of 3. My
Yes.
range is touch. And
Yes, touch is 0. It's a single target is 1. The duration is instant is also 0, so you can have a moderate effect, which is
Okay.
2d6.
Okay, I'll try that. So I better not fail the spell roll. Oh no, it's a 4.
Ooh, that's interesting.
I get a whopping 4 hit points.
I think what's happening is, so you concentrate on where does the acid rain come from? Is it like coming from your body? Is it just like?
I think it'll come from my hands. I'm just going to touch it and.
Yeah. So you lean forwards trying to touch it, and it looks like your body disintegrates for a second. And the next second you look around you, you're inside this creature. It's dark around you. It stinks like rotten fish and mud and straw. And like the weird fluid that you are swimming up until you're like up to your head is starting to dissolve your body completely. Like you were just zipping through the skin, and now you're inside the Shamblos trying to move away. And take acid, which is ironic, like stomach acid damage of 5.
Okay, I'll have to bite the dust.
But we will turn your lifeless body around hopefully in a minute. Let's see what the others are doing. So where was I? I think probably Frogmen. So you Frogmen, you have seen the creature trying to swim away. You see the strange stunt of Istvan. What do you do?
I mean, I think as I as it tries to swim away, where am I in relation to it now?
Behind it, so it's like maybe 5 meters or something, but it is moving slowly, slowlier than you are.
Yeah, I take up like a throwing knife from my wet shirt, and I gave it like one last shot to hit it.
But you're still underwater.
Am I still underwater?
Yeah.
How far am I from it?
Like 5 meters. It's like 2 or 3, very powerful swimming strokes, and you should be there.
Yeah. Okay. So I do that, and I stab it in the back, so to speak.
Let's see if you can make it in time. So let's have you make a saving throw. What would it be? Dexterity or strength?
I mean, to get there quickly, I think maybe strength. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like powerful moves.
Yeah.
And the danger here is that you just can't keep up with it.
Well, it's 10.
Wow. So you definitely reach it. You can grab onto it and just use your back step to cut it, I guess.
Let's see if I can can hit it then.
Yeah, I mean, it makes no sense that you wouldn't be able to hit it. It's more like it's a gigantic blob of mud. You need to find the spot where you make the real damage.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I do a backstab then. Let's see. Yeah, it's another 10. Luckily. So when you use a hand weapon to attack, blah blah blah, you deal damage. Notwithstanding, you chose 2 from the list below. So I deal my weapon. Okay, so I roll my damage first. It's a 5, and then I deal my damage again, and I slip away immediately out of the target's reach. So it's 10 damage.
Well, describe how you kill the creature.
I think it's just like you see me swimming up to it and then like going under, and I think you just see me like I just like cut it under, and I think you see me emerging like in the middle of it through like a hole, where I'm just, you're not. Oh, and I like shot the back. This is not a crocodile.
So the aftermath of the epic battle against the Swamp Shambler. What do we see in the immediate aftermath, like the moment after Frogmen dealt the killing blow? Is everybody like worried about Istvan? Is it relief? So Leifur.
Leifur is basically very, very happy, but also crying her eyes out, screaming, "Boss, you're alive! I thought you were dead." Did she take damage when she hit the tree?
Yeah, you did hit 1 point of damage.
Does armor count? I imagine probably not.
Probably yes. Yeah, you can. You would have to. So it's 0.
All right. Yeah.
0
So Leifur isn't hurt, but she's like bawling her eyes out. It's like, "Boss, I'm glad you're alive. I was so worried."
And so Anil, you were under the water as well. You were closely, probably side by side with Frogmen, and you've seen Istvan disappearing into this weird body.
Yeah, and she's quite tall, right? So she's probably waiting while the 2 smaller ones are swimming. Just waiting forward and sort of trying to pull Istvan out, and then if she manages that, she will try to wash the digestive juices of this shambler with swamp water, and offer a silent prayer that he hasn't permanently bit dust.
Cool. So yeah, you can. What kind of weapon do you have? You have a flail, I think.
Yeah.
So how do you cut the beast open?
And the spear is probably not.
I mean, I think
maybe, or maybe she uses the spear to sort of try to force it open.
Yeah, I think you probably can, because I already kind of made a hole in it.
Exactly. There's already the hole, and you use the spear to widen the hole, and you do see the lifeless body of Istvan with like the. I mean, he already had the acid marks in its face, and it didn't got better. And the clothes are also like slowly dissolving. So there's the body. What do you do?
I'll pull him out and sort of lower him into the water to neutralize it.
It probably looks from the outside like some weird born-again Christian baptism or something. You lower his body into the water. So, do you have any kind of bonuses when, like I said, like something like last rites?
I don't know, because lay on hands is when I call upon the power of my deity to heal a living thing.
Yeah, no, that's not it. That is a dead thing that you hold.
Yeah. But perhaps I could use my last bit of favor to allow Istvan a bonus on his roll. I don't know, or maybe I could involve.
When you see if you're somebody rolls, you overcheck within a few hours. Roll plus luck. Yeah, normally I think luck rolls are the only ones where you can't help or do anything. So Alyosha, I would ask you to make the roll plus luck. What's your luck?
Unfortunately, so 9, modifier of 0, and oh no, I got a 5.
Oh, 9. So let's see. It's not a miracle. You're gone. I mean, maybe we don't have the last breath. We don't have the the dungeon world super long scene. But just quickly, what do you see when you pass on the other side?
Understanding. Maybe I maybe even order into chaos and fate.
Awesome. Like you see these abstract concepts of life in front of your eye. So you killed a legendary monster, and you can now use the body for loot. So every monster has loot, not in form of coins or something, but part of its body is useful or valuable. I mean, Ratu will definitely. She wants the frog-like head, but you can cut it open and look for other valuable parts. And let's see, beasts and beauty. I have to make a couple of rolls. Maybe, guys, if you would like to, we make a 5 minutes break. I roll the booty, and then we have another half an hour where we, you know, continue the adventure. See you in 5. So, Alyosha, do you want to, like, there's one move where you can rise to the occasion, which means you take on the character of one of the followers. We only have one follower, unfortunately, Heinal, the towering fisherman, and then maybe for next time you roll a new character if you want to.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. Although, I mean, if it's just for the getting back, maybe it's too much of a hassle for like 30 minutes to make him into a PC, right? I mean,
Yeah,
just...
that's also true. So you, how do you, what do you do with Istvan's body?
We probably honor him with a small feast, right? While we dress the body and scavenge the parts. Maybe we take half of the raft and build him what you call it, like put him on top of the raft and anoint him with the wine, and then we maybe send him, or at least Emil wants to send him into the stream, so they'll put him afloat, and maybe she'll encourage the others to say some words over his body.
Yeah, what do you say? So you put him on the you dress him and what's it called? Anoint him with oils and whatever you have, and put him on the raft. What do you say?
I say our lives intertwined in the stream of life, and he saved my life once. In the end, we could not save his. For this, I am sorry, but you have brought our streams further along. People have to thank you.
Frogmen, do you loot his body?
No, I don't. I think actually, Frogmen is probably like sitting, like just a little bit back while the others do whatever they do, and I think like takes a sip of his cup, and you just like I think you see him like being kind of watery-eyed, and I think you just hear him mumble like, "Such a waste."
And Lifur?
Well, Boss doesn't cry, so I don't watch him cry. But I do stand with them and essentially watch Istvan's body get carried away by the stream. I will tell Alamandith that he was brave. I liked him. And then I will say basically just something in Dwarven, which is the equivalent of may you find your home back in the earth. You were a good man.
And you definitely see, Ratu is crying. Ratu and Heinal both embrace each other and cry. And Ratu says, "It was not worth it. Let's go home."
And I think at that, like you see Frogmen like get up, and I think you actually like I think you actually see there's like tears coming down his chins actually, and says, "No, then it would be for nothing. We're getting those damn crocodiles if it's the last thing I do."
And she sighs, and she says, "Well, I have the head of a Swamp Shambler, but I don't know how to carry it back. It's too damn big, and we don't have a raft." And she kicks against the head and says, "Yes, I want the hide of a crocodile, and I want its teeth, and I want its head." you can gut the Swamp Shambler, which is what adventurers should do, and you find inside 2 glands that you know. Well, probably Istvan is the only one who knows what it actually does, but it looks like the most valuable part of the body. So you can write down glands of a Swamp Shambler as the loot.
And the frog egg is probably scattered when the raft is crushed. Or
I mean, I wasn't the plan that you you had them in the nest and pulled it behind you, because the nest is still swimming. It's probably the only thing that's left of the raft.
all right, so then we have some frog eggs as well.
Indeed, frogman eggs even. So that was the threat.
I actually go, boss. So that thing, that was its nest, and whatever the those lizard things are, I think Soros or whatever, they may not like it. Maybe we could use that as the raft, and they'll leave us alone because they'll think we're it.
And I like look over at the nest. And like there's like a deep breath, and it's like, yeah, I mean, we don't have anything else, so might as well.
So you want to construct like a floating nest out of the body parts of the Shambler? That sounds like a plan. So let's see, what would that be? Yeah, these settlements. Let's see, craft. When you spend 1 week of downtime making something, yeah, I think you don't want a perfect raft. You want something that floats. What does it require? Brute strength, delicate touch, intense focus, of good intuition.
Good intuition, probably. It's like no one knows how to make a raft out of a...
Yeah, I would.
And willpower.
So, who of you takes the lead, and somebody else could help? It's plus wisdom. Leafer helps in any case. So, I mean, in mechanical terms, who has the highest wisdom?
That's probably, yeah. So I guess I'll sort of, because it's floating in the water, right? So I'll sort of dive into it and sort of try to see which parts float the best, and collect that together, and grab the wines that Wisdom is from animated, and try to sort of tie them all together. And I'll roll.
Yeah, just roll plus wisdom. We I think it will be something like a defy danger in the end.
Yeah, so that's an 11.
Wow, you actually built a proper raft, and so Alyosha, let's say you are Heinal for the moment. How does Heinal react, seeing that he just built a craft that is actually, sorry, a raft that is actually better than the one that you had before?
No, Heine is absolutely awestruck, and he was quite impressed by Frogmen already, and now he's like he's gonna, like, the rest of the journey he's just going to do errands, because he's just so much out.
And I seem to remember that Heinel was also listening to the Neil preaching, and I mean he's or they are a person of the water, so naturally attracted by a religion that that has that as its center focus, fate and water. All right, so Anil, your cork realigns, like it starts to, the water starts to vibrate again, and it does point towards, like very strongly to the east.
All right. As the water has provided us with the means of transport, and fate has provided us with a new goal. Let us set forth.
So this time there's just the one route, which is to the west. You can also see from the how strongly it vibrates that the alligator must be quite near. So we just let's see. It's one leg is 1 day. But you are still in dangerous territory. So let's have Lifua roll +1, which is the safety of the route.
Doing so. Just see. So 2d6. That the modifier of 1, and I will submit. Oh, I got a 10.
Awesome. So that says the journey is uneventful, I guess. You have to reduce obviously 1 ration again. I hope you're keeping all track. So how it looks like is there's this. It looks like almost like a bird's nest where you're sitting in. So there's even what's it called? Like you need to look over a small wall to see ahead. And Heinal is using the one pole that is left to propel you forward. And I guess Frown and you are the one who spots, who is keeping a lookout, looking for traces of the legendary alligator. So why don't you make a perceive?
It's plus wisdom.
Yes.
That's 6.
Awesome. So you do see a couple of alligators, sitting under the water. They're a bit difficult to spot, but you do spot them. Just the nostrils and the eyes peeking out of the water. They're lying still. There are 6 of them floating in the water. And what do you do?
Hey guys, see this?
Yep. Your orders?
How, like, I take a closer look at it.
So they it seems to be like normally alligators are individual creatures, so it is weird that they congregate very closely. Closely together. You can also see that there is like a small island to the north of where they sit in the water. That's about it. When all of a sudden your nest is shaken again, so something rushes with high tempo into the nest, toppling it over, and like making it wobble from one side to the other. So what do? You're in danger of flying out of the floating nest.
I grab a hold of the closest thing to me to not fly out of it.
Yeah, the side of the nest, the same.
Likewise.
And Anil as well. So let's make you're grabbing the side of the nest and you're trying to keep inside. So it's saving throw with strength, I guess.
So 9.
According to the roll for your party, I got a 12.
That's possible. Anil? Asbjørn, what did you get?
Oh, sorry, I got a 5.
5, a 9, and a 12. So we see the whole gamut. So obviously, Anil is flying out of the nest. Frogmen, where do you have your rations? In a backpack?
Yeah, I have a sack.
Yeah, I think you see the sack flying out of the nest and disappearing under the water. And yeah, Lifo, you can keep your cool. You're inside the nest, and you're the only one who is able to see the gigantic albino crocodile that has opened, like it has rammed into the nest, and now it's opened its gigantic mouth to swallow you whole, nest and everything. What do?
Okay, I shout, "Swamp Dragon!" And I'm not going to like stay there to get eaten. It's probably best to like dive off the nest before it eats me. Actually, is a pole anywhere? Can I like try to shove the nest away?
Heinal has the pole.
Heinal, get us out of here!
So, Alyosha, why don't you make a roll +0, which is quality?
Four, unfortunately.
Rip.
So, the mouth of the crocodile is around you. I think the only one, well, it closes around Heinal and Lifu. What is Frogmen doing?
How far is it away from me?
It's all around you.
That's not encouraging. Well, I guess it's time to be a little acrobatic, maybe. I'm gonna if it's all, I mean, it's trying to swallow the thing I'm on, right? So
yes.
I guess what I'm going to try to do is to use tricks of the trade to try to to jump up on the top of the alligator to position myself like on its head.
Yeah, I think you can make one step on the side of the nest and then another step on the head. And obviously, Lifu also can do something apart from telling Haino what to do. You're muted.
So, if so has the crocodile swallowed the two of us then?
No. It has opened its mouth and is trying to, close around you. Haina stands there and is trying to, like oblivious of the fact that he will be swallowed in a blink of an eye, trying to push the whole nest aside. What do you? So the whole landscape before you is just the throat of the alligator.
Yeah, I know what gets swallowed, so I'll probably just try, knowing that this won't necessarily be over my head. I'll jump off of the raft and try to get out of the big snappy jaws.
Yeah, yes, you jump off, which is defy danger with dexterity, I guess.
No, that makes sense. Not my greatest stat, but it's better. It's the best option at this stage. So, okay. Thankfully, I don't get a penalty for it. I will roll 2d6 plus nothing. Submit. It's not showing me the rolls.
Yeah, I think what you could do is you erase all the dice that you have, and then instead of hitting 2d6, say re-roll.
Okay.
So that you only have the 2 dice. Otherwise, it gets really confusing.
Clear all dice from room. Yes. And then re-roll. Doesn't do it.
So 2d6.
Actually, rolled. Yeah, it's not showing me anything. I'm just gonna roll my 2 dice here.
Well, I see a 5 and a 4.
Oh, okay. Then we'll go with that.
Which is a 9. What do you leave behind? I think I have an idea. So you jump off the nest with a splash, and you can see the 6 other crocodiles turning their heads.
Oh boy.
What is Anil doing?
Did the crocodile clamp down, or?
Yes, the mouth now shuts around the nest, swallowing Hainal whole.
Yeah,
on its top, on its head stands frowning.
Let's see. I have my flail is forceful, so could I sort of just whack it across the snout and try to maybe get it to open its mouth?
Yeah, that's a cool idea. Yeah, definitely. You can hit it like exactly where the jaw meets to force it to open its mouth.
All right. So I'll with strength.
Yeah.
So that's a 10 then, 9 plus 1.
Awesome. Deal your damage. I need to see how much the crocodile has.
So that's a 7.
That's not too bad. Let's see. Giant alligator. Wow. Well, you definitely achieve what you're trying to do. It does have 2 armor though, so it's a 5, obviously. But you can also see that that 5 damage really shook the alligator. Its lower jaw snaps open, like it snaps out of its socket, so to speak, and hangs loose, and Heinal is flying out of the mouth. What is Frogmen doing? You are on top of this moving crocodile. The crocodile gets hit, and you are on top.
Well, I'm gonna do both for the purpose of finding something to hold on to and to blind it. Stab my sword into its eye.
Yeah, awesome.
That is 7.
Holy shit. Obviously, armor doesn't apply if you stab someone in the eye. It's the second creature you killed tonight. So, I mean, how does it look like? Probably what you just described. You stab it in the eye.
Yeah, I imagine it being like, it looks more like that I actually just try to hold on. I just like, whoa, and then like stab it in the eye, and then I'm like holding onto it, and it falls down into the water, and I'm like lying there and like, whoa.
Yeah, and you see like a pink red bubbly foam coming out of its eye and mouth. And I guess we have 4 minutes, guys, until 10. We were playing for 10 hours for 4 hours, which is a lot. And I would like to at least travel back. Have the end of session move. So obviously Ratu is delighted with a giant albino crocodile head. So maybe one shot after the killing blow. What do you do in the immediate aftermath? Lifu, your hero has killed the second beast in a row.
Okay, well, I will basically, just to show these alligators that looked at me, what's for, I will climb onto the albino alligator, point to Boss, and say, "You don't want to mess with me. This is Boss, and he'll do to this. He'll do to you what he did to this." And I'll wave my mace.
And you do see the alligators moving to one side and away.
Ha! That's right.
And I'll try to, I don't know if Heinal survived, I'll jump in the water and dragging up and try to, if he's still among the living barely, then I'll try to lay on hands.
Yeah, he's among the living, but he has like bite marks in his side.
Yeah, and I'll take the crystal ball up to me and sort of do the same thing I did, grip both still in the water. Do the same thing I did to start of the journey, so fuel my strength into him, or in this case it's Constitution. I have to burn one Constitution, and the water is filled with this. What do you call in English? Is glowing algae in the water. Murin is what we call it in Norwegian. So glowing, it sort of glows, and then I'll put it on the chest of Heinal, and the small glowing motes of light will sort of go into him. And I have to burn one Constitution and roll Wisdom.
Mikael, do you speak Norwegian?
Yes.
So what's the word? Glowing algae?
I don't know.
Okay.
I got a 4, guys. 4.
So it doesn't look good for Heinold either. He would bleed out if you guys can't help him in any other way. Is there a first aid? There must be.
Actually called Maril in English.
Oh yeah.
Milky Seas effect or Maril.
Pretty.
I don't have any bandages, I think. Maybe the Swamp Shambler glands could be used. I don't know.
Could be. I mean, you could roll plus luck to see if it has healing properties.
Sure. Should I roll? Or?
Yeah, I mean, you're the designated healer, I think.
All right. So that's 7.
Dwarven medicine involves cauterization, and we don't have fire.
So there is a trade-off. I think the trade-off is you need to use both glands to heal Heinold. Okay, guys, we have 10 o'clock now. If you have time for another 10 minutes, if not, we can wrap it up next week. But obviously, it would be nice to bring this to a conclusion. Alyosha, I would totally understand if you want to bow out.
I'm okay, but it's like 4 p.m. where I am.
Yeah, it's 10 p.m. where I am, so I'm fine. But just want to check in. I can't, I have complete understanding that, you have schedules and everything. So if everyone agrees, we just make the trip back, which is a safe trip because you know where you have to travel. At least that was the rules in the old rules. I don't see anything other. So it's just a safe trip back, which would be another 7 days, so 7 rations if you have them.
I have no rations.
I have 5 rations.
5?
Yeah, but I have a fishing pole, so.
And Leifur?
You're muted.
You're muted, yeah.
I believe I have 7 right now because I started with 10 and we've been on this for 3 days.
Yeah.
I mean, it was my job to find the boat. Didn't you get any rations?
Oh, sorry. I'll split my rations with Boss. I can go hungry. I'll give him 4 and I'll eat 3.
You can also forage.
I have a fishing pole, so I could forage, I guess.
Yeah. So for let's see, like for 4 days you have rations for everyone. Mm-hmm. So the last 2 days you would have to spend 1 day to forage, and let's see how successful that goes.
All right. And let's see, when you spend a day seeking food in the wild.
Roll plus, yeah. I think probably intelligent or wisdom.
And so plus wisdom to intuit the best spots, which seems like the way Anil would do it.
Yeah.
Uh, 8 plus 2, that's 10.
And that gets you
1d4 plus 1d4 if you have the gear, and I guess I haven't.
And you have the fishing rod. So
Yeah.
let's roll 2d4. And it's just 2 days anyway, so you need 6, I guess.
Got 5.
I think that should be okay. Especially because Levo wants to be 1 day hungry.
Yeah.
So you return victoriously from your hunt. You haven't made the whole trip to the shipwreck, unfortunately. But Ratu pays you. She pays you 10 for the journey per person, obviously, and then 10 for the Shambler, and 10 and I think 15 for the alligator. So that's 35.
Each.
35 each.
Okay.
You also have the Frogman eggs, I guess, as a bounty, as a booty. You used up the glands.
I'm pretty sure we had all the wine as well.
I don't know if you've drunk all the Frogman wine.
I suspect you might.
I suspect as well.
If I'm not eating, I'm drinking.
Exactly. All right, so let's make the end of session move.
You could also berate her that she's cheaply profiting off Isran's death.
That is true, because now she doesn't have to pay the 35 to 1. I mean, you could try to negotiate. Maybe we can do the negotiation next time. Do the most important stuff. So wrap up. When you reach the end of a session, do the following. If you fulfilled your alignment goal at least once, that's always a bit difficult, but does anyone see their alignment goals being fulfilled?
I don't even know what that is.
It's you're neutral.
Yeah.
I think neutral is. Let's see. Yeah, then the beginning. Somewhere on the first 2 pages.
I'm gonna look here. Oh, here it is. Act to maintain balance. No, that's not.
No, that's not it.
I have not done that.
Okay, anyone else? Lifu, no. Okay, then.
I will never do that ever.
That is true. And then I have to go back to the basic rules. And then if you fulfilled at least 1 trait in a memorable way.
Daring.
Daring.
Yeah.
I have confidence. Maybe.
I mean, jumping from the branch, daring, confident.
Yeah, it's a fine line between daring and confidence.
I think you should get an experience point in any case, even if you're a coward. That was a pretty awesome move. Mikhail?
Yeah, I'm also daring or /mad, which is, I guess, a fine line. But yeah, I don't know. Swimming under the thingo.
I would say
so. The crocodile head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both daring and mad, but you get 1 XP for that.
Yeah.
And then, if you're a fighter, mark XP if you defeated a foe in battle. That's for Lifur. If you're a thief, mark XP if you acquired something by stealth or trickery.
Yeah. I didn't deal the killing blow, though, to either of those.
That is true. Yeah, I think that counts. I think that contributes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would say you acquired the eggs, but not by stealth or trickery. You just, grabbed the nest. And else? If you're a cleric, mark XP if you fulfilled the tenet of your deity, which we didn't talk about. What's the tenet of your deity?
Yeah, I didn't really. When I filled out this a little bit earlier, I wrote "be like water," but or follow the stream. I guess could also be a tenet.
What do they say?
But I'm not sure if it lives up to the sense.
Yeah, be like the water was your tenet?
Or be like water, like
Be like,
Bruce
be
Lee.
like. Yeah, I know. Sting like a butterfly. No, what's this? The other one. Anyways, in which way would you have been acted like flowingly?
I think well, you could say that it also means the way I've been playing her, that you sort of trust in fate and just flow with the events.
There was the scene with Istvan as well, where you described how fate and water is, connected. Yeah, I think so. And then we have.
Can I ask? Do you think maybe Aliush can answer? Do you think I convinced Hainan to join my fate?
Not yet. I think he's on. They are on their way. Interested, but not. They won't, throw away their religion yet, because in Goldbridge, obviously, everybody is religious in that time, and they are as well. All right, and then. If you're a magic user, mark XP if you solve a problem with magic, and then answer the following question as a group. For each yes answer, everyone marks XP. Did we make an exciting discovery? I think the only discovery today was the nest with frog eggs. Not sure how exciting that is.
Or that that big swamp thing exists. That's not something I expected.
Yes.
All right. I see that.
But maybe that's more of a difficult obstacle.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it doesn't matter where the 1 XP comes from, either from the exciting discovery or the difficult obstacle.
In which case, I would argue that it was a very exciting discovery to find very good wine on that little hill there. It was a very exciting discovery.
For the alcoholics under us, which is apparently everyone except maybe Anil. Yeah, I'm happy with 2, and then the last would be: did we acquire some memorable booty?
The glance would probably be dissipated. We're on our own.
I mean, 37 coins is 35 coins is a lot. I can buy like fine clothes with them and a tent.
I can get some food
and a barge.
So, what did you say, guys? A point definitely for difficult obstacle. Memorable booty, I don't know. Like you acquired the booty and then lost it in the same moment, more or less. Or do you count the frog eggs as
I was kind of hoping to, or we could sell them, but maybe you also could hatch them and raise a little frogling.
An army of frogmen, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, let's say yes to that as well. That would be 3 XP on top of it.
Nice. That takes us up to 5.
Some of you.
Some of us.
Takes me up to 4. Because I'm not a thief.
Okay, guys, I will just stop the broadcast. Then we're gonna have a small talk about the feedback.